All right, let's talk about something huge. The way we learn, especially about AI, is fundamentally changing right now. If you're in this field, you know how fast it moves. And that means the old way of learning, just passively watching videos, is over. It's time for a new, active approach. So let's dive right in. For years, what did online learning look like? Well, it meant following along, right? We'd watch these tutorials, follow these really rigid step-by-step guides, and just consume video after video. But in the world of AI, where things change literally every week, that model is just way too slow. It's not just getting old, it's already obsolete.
So this brings up a really big question, and I bet you felt this. You're trying so hard to keep up, trying to learn how to build with all these new tools, but it feels like you're constantly one step behind, doesn't it? That anxiety is so real. You finally finish a tutorial, and boom, the next day, the entire user interface has changed, or some new model comes out that makes the whole thing irrelevant. So you have to ask, is that entire way of learning just over?
And look, this isn't some far-off prediction. This quote from OpenAI's president Greg Brockman shows you just how urgent this is. He set a goal for his team to make agent-first work the new normal. An agent is basically an AI that does stuff for you. So instead of you opening up a program to start a task, your very first instinct is going to be to ask an AI partner to do it. That's the new standard they're building towards, like right now. This really lays out the whole shift perfectly. On the left, you've got the old way. Instructor-led tutorials, step-by-step guides, it's all passive consumption. You're just taking information in. But look at the right. That's the new way. It's about having an AI as a build partner, thinking out loud, and active collaboration. You're not just following anymore, you're creating with it. It's a complete flip.
Now, it's so easy to hear all this and think, okay, cool, that's the future, but it's not here for me yet. That is absolutely the wrong way to think about it. The capabilities are here, right now, today. Yeah, it can be a little clunky sometimes, and sure, the interface isn't always perfect. But for anyone who's willing to just push through those little hurdles, the tools are ready and waiting to be used.
So this is the fundamental shift. This is the big idea. You have to stop looking for tutorials. Stop searching for an explainer that holds your hand. You have to fully embrace the idea that the AI itself is your learning partner and your build partner. Don't search for a video on how to do something. Start a conversation with your AI and figure it out together.
And if you're thinking, well, that's great for coders, but that's not me, just listen to this. This is a direct quote from someone who has built dozens of amazing projects and agents using this exact method. That old barrier, the one that said you had to be a technical genius, it's crumbling. You don't need to be a coder. You just need a vision and the willingness to talk it through with your AI.
And this is just so important to get. You don't need a perfect, beautifully structured plan before you start. You can be messy. You can come in with these half-formed thoughts and literally ask the AI, wait a second, am I trying to build two totally different things here? Its job isn't just to follow your orders. Its real job is to help you think and bring some clarity to your own ideas.
Okay, so that's the big picture. Now let's get practical. How do you actually do this? The first part isn't about what buttons to click. It's about adopting the right mindset. It's about how you need to think when you approach your new AI partner. There are basically 4 pillars to this new builder's mindset. First, always start with the big vision, not some tiny little task. Second, and this is so key, you have to push back on it, hard and often. Third, you've got to use the AI as a mirror to help you refine your own ideas. And finally, never, ever forget that you are the project manager. You are the one in charge.
Let's dig into that pushback idea for a second, because it's probably the most unnatural part of this. Your AI doesn't have feelings. It's not going to get offended. But here's the thing. It says everything with 100% confidence, even when it's totally wrong. So your job is to be the skeptic. Challenge its output. Make it defend its choices. It's in that friction, that back and forth, where the best stuff gets created.
And that mirror concept? It's just as powerful. A lot of the time, the most helpful thing the AI can do is just repeat your own idea back to you, but in a more structured way. When you see it laid out like that, you suddenly see your own thoughts more clearly. You spot the gaps, or you realize, hey, my gut feeling was right all along. The big lesson here is that you really do know more than you think you do. All right, mindset is covered. Now, let's get tactical. What are the practical, hands-on things you can start doing in your very next session with an AI? This is all about how to act. This might be the single most useful tactic of them all, the handoff document. You know, AI conversations have a pretty limited memory. It's called a context window. If you don't save what you did, you're starting from scratch next time. So before you wrap up the session, you just ask your AI to summarize everything. What decisions you made, what questions are still open, what the next steps are. It's a game changer for picking up right where you left off.
Okay, here are a few more. Rapid fire. If you see an error or something weird on your screen, use a screenshot. Don't try to describe it. If you're dealing with code or text, don't paraphrase. Copy and paste the exact text. Here's a pro tip. Use your main AI partner to help you write better prompts for other, more specialized AIs. And finally, talk. Don't type. Your thoughts flow so much more naturally when you speak. But out of all these little tactics, there's one skill that rises above everything else. It's so deceptively simple, something you do every single day, but it is absolutely critical for making this whole partnership work.
That's it. Copy and paste. I'm serious. As simple as it sounds, this is now a core skill. Your AI partner works so much better with the raw, exact information, the actual error message, the real snippet of code, not your summary of it. You have to get into the habit of giving it perfect, unaltered context.
So we've gone through the new mindset. We've talked about the core tactics. We've seen how this whole paradigm of learning and building is shifting away from being a passive observer to being an active partner. So now, the only thing left to talk about is you.
You know, it's always been true that practice beats theory. The best way to learn anything has always been to just jump in and start building. But that's scary, right? It can be super intimidating. The difference now, the massive, game-changing difference, is that you don't have to start alone anymore. All those things that made you hesitate before, they're not gone, but they're so much smaller because you have a partner from step one.
And that really brings us to the final and honestly, the most important question. This isn't just some interesting idea to think about. It's a tool you can use today. So after everything we've talked about, the question isn't if you'll start. It's what are you going to build with your new AI partner first?